Hello, how's everybody doing? I hope you're doing great. I had a really good day today. I hope everybody is gearing up for their 4th of July holiday and that you have a fabulous one. I just wanted to get on and do a quick message. I've heard a couple of things that inspired me today, and of course, as always, I want to pass that along to you guys because we're in this together. Anything that I'm going through, you might need some cheering on. You might need some encouragement. You might just need some love, and to let you know that if nobody has told you today that I love you and God loves you, and that you're never alone out here in this world, in this experience. You have guides that surround you. You have angels that surround you, and I am here going through this experience with you as well. And we are all connected. We're all connected. So I'm always here for you, whether we have met, will meet, will never meet. My energy is sending you and your energy love and light as always. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about some of the things that I have been feeling. I went for a walk today. I was at the park earlier than normal, and then right when I left is the time that I would normally get there, and that couple with the aggressive dogs showed up, and I was like, man, I am so glad I got an early start, because something always tells me if somebody's going to show up that has irritating energy, irritating vibration to me, I always get like a nudge of some kind from my intuition that tells me, like, go, it's time to go. And yesterday I didn't listen to it. I was trying to push myself, and I was like, one more lap, one more lap, because it's been so hot. And then the times that I didn't go walking when it was like rainy or stormy, I felt guilty because I was like, I need to do more. And I'll talk about that later, because I always feel like I need to push myself, and then I'm not doing enough. And I'll explain that. I'm sure some of you can relate once I go into it deeper. But I told myself yesterday, just one more lap. And as soon as I did one more lap, there was a car there, and this lady was standing outside, and she was like screaming something. I don't know. Thank God for headphones, because I had tuned it out, but I should have gotten in my car and left when my intuition told me to. But I chose to push on and do that one more lap, and then here's this screaming lady. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's why. That's why I needed to get in my car and go. And today, I was, even with my earlier start, there was a lightning bug. A lightning bug. I always think it's funny how a lot of people call them fireflies, but here in the South, they're lightning bugs. But I was going around my next to last lap, and I thought about going. And then, of course, like yesterday, even though I didn't listen to my intuition yesterday, I was like, one more lap, Carrie. And this lightning bug came and like almost smacks me in the hand. I'm like touching my face for some reason, scratching, whatever. And the lightning bug comes and hits me like right in the fingers as soon as I put my hand up there. If I hadn't my hand up there, it might have gone in my mouth, but it smacked me like pretty hard. And I was like, dang, what are you trying to tell me? And I should have left. That's what it was trying to tell me. It was telling me to leave, because as soon as I did one more lap, here's this couple and their dogs. And I was like, okay, yeah, I should have left, but now I'm leaving for sure. But the guy that, when he was there the other day, I forgot to mention this, but when he was there and his dog like lunged at the little puppy, and didn't bite into it, but it did grab a hold of it with its teeth, because when I pet it, when I got to pet the puppy, it was white, like snow white, and the dog had gotten it dirty where he had put his mouth on it, but didn't draw blood or anything like that. But of course, if you know puppies when they get scared, they will yelp, 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 like they've been massacred, but they're just really, really scared. They don't know what to do. So, but whenever the guy's dog did that to the puppy, he just like got the puppies out of there and put them in the car and left. He didn't even come back and check on the puppy. So that was another thing that told me about his character. But he brought the girl back with him today. I'll call her Kentucky. She's a Kentucky fan. She wears Kentucky gear. And you don't see that much around here. I have a ex-friend that's a huge Kentucky fan, but that's the only one that I know in Chattanooga. So it always stands out to me. But yeah, if your intuition is telling you, nudging you, it's time to go, go. Even if you don't see anything that gives you that low vibrational energy, doesn't have anything physically irritating you, of something in your spirit, something in your environment is nudging you, get up and get out of there. There's a reason for it. And next time, third time is a charm. I'm not going to do the other lap, no matter how much I want to push myself and be proud of how much I accomplished during my exercise. I'm going to go. So I encourage you to do that too. But I was listening to a couple of readings today, which I haven't listened to readings in a while, mainly because I I like readings. I like tarot readings, but I've been hearing the same exact messages, the exact same messages for like 2 years now. Since before this stuff happened with my uncle and me having nowhere to live, like I have been hearing these same things. And it was helpful for a while because it did confirm a lot of things that I already intuitively knew for myself to be true. But just hearing the confirmation of that was reassuring. But it was telling, they've told me like this is gonna happen and this is about to happen, this is about to happen, in which the things leading up to those things have already happened, but the actual breakthrough, the actual fruition of your harvest has not happened yet. And I know a lot of people are going through the same things as me. In the comments, this is where I started to realize this years ago, is that I'm not alone in this, and I've heard full out testimonies of others going through the same thing also, in addition to these readings, and then seeing the comments where people who have almost carbon copy stories to mine have said, this is me, this has to be for me. And I'm like, well, this is me too, like it's just undeniable. And my heart goes out to all of them because I want to fix it for all of us. I want to fix it, but I can't. I can just do the best that I can do in my situation, and then get on here and offer inspiration and encouragement and love and just instructions on how I did something that may help them while they're going through it, that maybe they can try. I know that we're all different and no one is exactly the same as me, but if nothing if nothing else, the encouragement and the love will help them. So that's a big part of why I'm doing what I'm doing. But I listened to like 2 or 3 readings while I was doing my walk. I know it's like the same thing. I know that these readers get tired of saying these same things, but there's a couple that are really funny. I mean, just make it really funny, no matter how much of a broken record it is. And I enjoy that. And others that will sometimes get upset about the situation because they're not going through it, but the audacity and like the frustration that they feel for others that they know are going through this, and things that I can't say, that I won't say, that being anointed, as I very much resonate with, being chosen for this, tapped for this mission, whatever, being prepared for what I've gone through, I have changed from being the reactive person and having that emotional maturity that I can't do the things that they're doing. I can't even be that sarcastic. And, I don't want to internalize that. I don't want it to be who I am and in turn let it build up and react and give anybody what they want, the whole reason that they've done the majority of these things in the first place. I get enjoyment out of hearing them doing it, in a third party situation. It's like listening to a comedy show. And then in turn, it releases things for me that I didn't even know that I still had some inside of me. And if you know, you get what I'm saying. But um, and then there's a couple that I just like love. I would love to meet one day. Like I've said before, I would love to have these people where around me so that I can interview them and for one in person give them their flowers and tell them exactly how they've helped me and how I looked forward to listening to them and I felt like they were a friend even though we didn't know each other. And then also to let them tell their story and give them a platform not, they have their own platforms for readings, but to let them tell their own personal story if they choose to do so and help them to help others that way because everyone deserves that moment. Everyone deserves that spotlight in which they are given an opportunity for others to appreciate all of the hard work that they've put in and what inspired them, how they were moved to start helping others as well, like me, because it doesn't happen for no reason. You go through something that leads you to this kind of, I won't call it a ministry, but it is of sorts because of whatever you've gone through, you're helping others to keep the faith, to dig deep and know that if God is working on you, with you, through you in your situation, that it's for a reason and you have to let him and you have to give, your surrender to him and know that it's all going to work out, to have faith and that as long as you do that, everything is going to be just fine. It's not that serious, even though it may be painful, that he's prepared you for this and that he wouldn't put you through something or bring you to it if he wasn't going to see you all the way through it. And I want to let others know that usually the nicest people in the world have gone through the most shit. They're not that way because they wake up every morning and they're like, oh, it's all sunshine and rainbows. No, they've been shown the very, very harsh side of life and they don't want to participate or make others ever feel the way that they've been made to feel. And then hopefully they'll realize that they didn't have to stay there for very long because it will only last as long as you allow it, and that others can only make you feel a certain way if you let them. So you're in total control of that. But I think the things that I listened to on those readings today were helpful, even if it was beating a dead horse because they're still saying the same things. There's just no, it's it's God's divine timing when it happens. That's what made me stop listening because if I listened to the end goal in those readings over and over and over, it got me excited and it was like, it's about to happen. It's about to happen. But you never know when it's about to happen. And it will happen for different times for all of us. So, what's one person's timeline and might be about to happen for them, it's not yours. These are collective readings, they're not personals. And most people that are going through these types of situations don't have the money to pay for a personal reading anyway, which is why they're watching the collective reading for free. But yeah, I would get my hopes up. I would be like, okay, it's about, this is going to end. This is going to end soon. Your soul tribe's coming. This, that, the other. Like the possibilities and the things that I've heard are the same, but there's no certainty on when. You just have to have faith. That's what the faith is all about. And just keep going. Don't stop. Keep it going. Don't let them win. Don't give up. Don't quit. Don't go back. That's what you have to keep focused on. And so that's what I wanted to focus on. I didn't want to listen to them and get my hopes up. I thought I was at the breakthrough so many times. And then when I think about it, well, the last time that I listened to this person, they were saying the exact same thing, and I was hopeful, and that was a year ago, like a full, maybe even longer, a year ago, and I was like, excited, and it, well, you're waiting some more. So I stopped listening to it because I was like, I just want to be surprised and I just want to focus on my growth and all of the beautiful things that are in my life right now and be content with that and not have this anticipation, not have any anxiety or frustration from it. Like that adds to me having low vibrations. And I didn't want to be in any of that. I just wanted to focus on what's good in the here and now and what I could focus on within myself to make better any shadow work that was suppressed, or helping others by getting on here and making messages and telling them how I was doing it or what you can focus on that's not horrible, that's beautiful each and every day. And, appreciate every single little thing, especially things that you may have taken for granted that are always in your life. So yeah, that's what I wanted to focus on. But in listening to one today that I really, really would like to meet her one day. She has a special place in my heart, just because of her soul. Her soul is very, very gentle, but yet she's relatable. She's been through a lot of things, and like I've said before, I don't think that you could be giving advice and have a platform where people can really resonate and bring things away from it if you haven't already been through a lot of things. They're not going to listen to you if you've had some squeaky clean life where you're just telling them, what you've read in the book, or, that your life has been sunshine and rainbows your whole life, and that theirs hasn't been. So they're going to be like, what do they know? But if you've been through the trenches, if you've had some struggles, if you've had some addictions, if you've had some wrong turns and you've bounced back from that, they're going to take you more seriously. They're going to it's going to make sense to you why at this place in your life that you were able to sit here and dispense some knowledge, because you've been through some shit. So um, she's a little bit older than me, maybe a little, probably not much, but yeah, you can tell she's definitely been through things and she's bounced back, and therefore I take her more seriously. And she's also at a point where she's starting over in her life as well. And I just have a great amount of respect and admiration for her. But just listening to her voice makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. So I'd like to give her a big hug one day, and I'd like to tell her in person how much I got from her messages, not just in tarot, not having nothing to do with cards even, but just in her presence and her online presence, that it kept me focused. And I know that's a big part of why they do it too. It's not just reading cards, it just happens to be something that they're good at, just like me making cakes. People being in my presence and me being a high vibrational person, no matter what I was going through, I tried to spread love and not charge an arm and a leg. I did a lot of cakes for free, even, and um, to offer that with the cakes, it wasn't just me. It happened to be something that I was good at, but I also made pizzas. I've made lots of burritos. I've made lots of blizzards. I've flipped a lot of blizzards upside down. You wouldn't believe how many people clap for that, though. That's kind of exciting. I miss that a lot. But I tried to offer, even though I never graduated with my psychology degree, which I hope to one day, that no matter what I was doing, I was always going to help somebody by being me, by being my authentic self and offering whatever it was that I felt they needed and meeting them at whatever level they were at, so that they could relate to me and I could relate to them in a way that I could help them in their life, some way, somehow, even if everything seemed perfect, which nothing ever is. But I still wanted to, tell jokes or make them smile or give them a discount or whatever it is that they needed. Diffuse. I've diffused a lot of fights. um, I've been the calm one that separated a bunch of people in situations that probably could have been very chaotic. So, yeah, no matter what I was going through, I always matter what I was doing, I always tried to offer a little bit of comic relief, a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of love or encouragement or whatever I thought that the people I met along my journey needed from me at that time. So I know that these people are doing that as well. Cards is just, like I said, something that they're good at. And yeah, so I'd really like to meet her. But she said in a message today, which I thought was very relevant to what I have gone through and what others have gone through, is that when people in your life see your light and all you are focusing on in your life is things that have gone wrong or how you never got picked for this or how you put so much time and energy into that and it didn't work out, that you will be down on yourself. And a lot of times when we're in the situation, we're very clouded. It takes someone outside of the situation to be objective about it and that can point out things, like a therapist or a counselor or a mentor, somebody that's outside of your situation looking in that can say, well, even though all of your emotions and love for the people that are in your situation and how you're not getting your needs met or whatever, all of that is clouding your judgment. It's clouding your vision, that you don't see all of the good things that are right in front of you, all of the potential that you have, or how you got this from this situation when you thought you got nothing from it. Like someone outside the situation can look in and easily point those things out because they're not feeling all of those emotions. They're not the ones in it, so they can see it more clearly and pick it apart and help you to identify the pros, the cons, and see the good in it and not just the bad. To not get, swallowed up and drown or spiral. They can look at it outside and say, look at this. This is how I see it. Well, when you're going through, being brought up by a family or you're in a certain friend group or whatever you may be surrounded by, some of those people might not have that, mentor, counselor, therapist mindset. And they see all of the positives and your potential and how hard of a worker you are, even though this or that may not have worked out, that you have the drive, or, they see your light, but they are not that nurturer. They are not that leader. They're not that guidance for you, that a good positive role model that might point out those things and say, hey, cheer up, buck up. It's not as bad as you think, and show you A, B, and C that you should be focusing on instead of, being a wet blanket or a Debbie Downer or whatever, or beating yourself up. They may want you to be in that cloudy spot. They may feel good about themselves because they see your light. And when you are feeling that way about you or your situation, that it makes them feel good about themselves, because in comparison, you're not as shiny and bright standing next to them to where they feel like they pale in comparison, that they feel like they need to step it up or they could do this or that if they could just do work on themselves and be like you. Um, they may try to keep you there. They may not point out the things that you're good at or how hard you tried was an inspiration to others, even if it didn't work out, or that you need to get away from that person, that they never loved you in the first place and you shouldn't have spent so long in that relationship, friendship, whatever, that you should get up and get out of there and actually, you know, be single until you find someone that loves you the way that you deserve to be loved, or someone that shines as bright as you, not knowing all of the terminology that I use about vibrations and energy. Um, but, give you encouragement like that. They may want you to stay in that position. They may tell you, go back to that situation, work harder, or go back to this person, try harder, that's what love really is and that's what you deserve. They may not be that positive role model that you need, and they may want to keep you in that place of feeling bad and spiraling and like that's what you deserve. So we don't all we don't all grow up with the positive mentors. Sometimes we really have to wait until life on our path, on our journey, leads us to the people that are really meant to point out those good things about us. And even if not that, to be by ourselves and to be isolated and on our path to where we realize those things about ourselves and we're our own biggest cheerleaders, and that we don't need anybody to tell us those things, that we come to realize after separating ourselves from all of the negativity and the low vibrations, that those people saw what we had in us all along. They didn't want us to go anywhere. They wanted to keep us down. They wanted to dim our light. They wanted to be that crab that pulled you back down into the bucket. And you might not ever see that unless you pull yourself back out of that situation and isolate in order to elevate and actually to see your own potential without being told, or out without being drugged back down, or whatever situation that you were in. But in those situations, I think it's best to be isolated. It's great if you have a good mentor or positive role models in your life that will help cheer you up and tell you that is amazing. But if you're anything like me, you don't have that. You didn't have that. And if you did, it was manipulation, and they were just telling you that in order to get you to trust them so that they could keep an eye on you for the ones that didn't want you to be doing good. And so then you could, have this trusted individual around you that didn't really want the best for you, but they told you that they did so that they could still, have eyes on your life and have someone that you confided in close to you so that they could feed all of that information to the ones that were, actively your whole life trying to keep you held down. So I think it's important to isolate. I think I commented on this one short that that guy Taylor Welch from the Deep End podcast had made, where he said he's talking about like new age people. They love to throw out the new age thing. Like it automatically is like demonizing when they say new age, but God doesn't care. It reminds me of something I saw on Facebook the other day where somebody posted, if it was impossible to lie, what would be the first thing that would collapse? And somebody said religion. And it actually was on the person who posted the question. They're like deeply religious, so I thought it was funny, and like nobody liked it. And there was all these other answers that were being liked and loved, but nobody said anything or reacted to the one that said religion. But it was very true to me. I was like, amen. Thank you for saying that. Like, I believe in God. I believe in a power source. I believe in Jesus. But I believe just like in Jesus, God is in all of us. He is all of us. He's just pretending to be all of us separately. And oh, that was amazing. I was like, yes, if they couldn't lie, if they couldn't manipulate and try to control anything, that religion would automatically, in less than 24 hours, religion would be obsolete. Because if you're unable to lie, like you cannot keep organized religion afloat, of any denomination, of any religion at all. You cannot keep it afloat if you can't lie, because that's what's drawn people in. That's what's kept them there for this long. And then they lie to themselves too, by telling themselves that they are on a pedestal, that they are better than others. And then they go out and condemn and shame and all of these things that actually conflicts with the religion that they say they are so superior within. But anyway, Taylor Welch was talking about New Age people and how they believe that isolation is freedom. And I didn't comment this. I said isolation shouldn't last forever, but it is very important for your elevation, and that you should separate yourself from other influences and any other noise so that you can hear God's voice more clearly. And then you have that foundation with him that's unshakable, that no one can take away from you, that it's so personal and ingrained, and it's the basis for everything in which you do and say, that that's what isolation is for. It's not freedom. But what I should have said is that the fallacy in all of it is that we're already free. We are already free. And you just have to, like I said, about waking up, give yourself permission to do that, to know that you are already free. It's part of being awake, is that knowing, giving yourself permission to wake up is realizing that you were already free, that there are no ceilings, that anything that you've ever listened to that made you feel like you were not free, that you are not powerful, that you were not infinite, divine, is something that was part of this matrix, this construct in which you were fed, that you were conditioned by, that the machine that is the media or what your parents have been taught is not always malicious, but however that you came about learning that for yourself is a fear-based system that has kept you restricted from believing that you are and always have been free, with or without isolation. Isolation just helps you build that foundation. But even with that foundation with God, you are free and always have been free ever since the day that you incarnated onto this earth. It's just the conditioning that makes you think that you have to do this and that and listen to this person and conform with society and join this club and join that religion and go to this school and tiny boxes where everybody comes out just the same. Like, it makes you think that you need to conform, that you need to uphold the status quo, or people are going to talk about you, or you're going to be this or that. And the freedom, part of the freedom is realizing that I don't care. I don't care what they're saying about me. I don't care if I look the same. I don't care if I fit in, if I'm dressing the same as everyone. Now, at one time before I woke up, yes, I did. I spent so much money at Gap. I worked at Gap forever. I missed that discount, by the way, because the clothes were made really well and rarely tore up. You could have a piece of clothing from Gap for your whole life, and it was still just as good at the end of your life as it was on the day you bought it. So that I do believe in. But I spent so much money at the Gap because I was in high school in the 90s and it was huge. You remember the SNL skit from the Gap? Like, everybody wore Gap. Everybody went to the Gap. That's where you got all of your staples, your jeans, your tees, your everything. So I did try to fit in. I did try to conform, and I cringe at that version of myself so bad, because what was I doing? What in the world was I doing? And I was throwing away all of this money. I did not need to be doing that. I could have saved so much money if I hadn't been involved, actively involved in trying to be aesthetically pleasing to society and conform to this ideology. I can't say it right now. Ideology of what everyone thought that you should be, and that I be this picture perfect thing that fit in and matched with that, and that's how it could be attractive. And but what's most attractive is being yourself, not trying to be like everyone else. So you're already free. You're already free, but everyone around you who is not awake, which especially growing up or prior to this moment in life right now, because so many people are waking up, and it is amazing. It is amazing to get online and watch the people that are saying, talking about Trump, that it's not all like the MAGA people now. If there's a lot of things going on, the first thing that I see people commenting, like the top comment would be, what else is going on, or calling, saying that this is a distraction, that all of this in the media that I'm telling you not to watch, which was like it's one of my most liked shorts, but one of my least viewed shorts, because from the moment that I put it out, it was shadow banned. And you could tell give it a day or two, shorts are my most popular thing. And whether it's something that people will look at for seconds and swipe on, it still gets a view. That I don't care what happens to it, it will always get like 100 views or more. But the one about don't watch the media, don't pay attention to CNN or Fox News or anything that's going on right now, focus on what you want more of, they would not let that out. It would not get any traction in the algorithm, which is fine because God is bigger than the algorithm. So I don't worry about that. When it's my time to gain attention or to get a message out that's important, God will let it out. He has the ultimate control, which is why it had so many likes, because still people saw it. Not as many people as usually see my shorts, but the people that saw it liked it. That's why I didn't get out, because they don't want people to know that. And I love it that when people are in the comments for these outrageous news stories that are going on, that they're like, what else is going on? What is this a distraction for? I love that that is so instinctual now, and that the tide is turning and so many people are waking up. It's beautiful. Or what else was it that they said? I'm trying to think. Calling conspiracy theories delayed truths now. I love that. Delayed truths instead of letting people call it conspiracy theories. I think that Taylor Welch guy says that too, but yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. So many people are waking up, and it is awesome. It's such a great time to be alive because this is what we've been waiting for. This is what we came for. Um, but yeah, it's beautiful. But back to my original message. Not to get lost in all of that, but I do get excited about it. So pardon the detours. Um, but yeah, when you grow up in a family like that, or in a group, or whatever, people are surrounding you that just want to keep you um, keep reinforcing your negative thoughts and your negative feelings. They want to reinforce that. They want to feed that so that that grows, and not get you out of that slump, and not be like, hey, this is what she needs to hear. They're going to say, no, I like that they're thinking that, and that's what I want them to think more of. So I'm not going to lead them out of that dark place. I want to keep them going down that path so that they don't actually advance. They see your light before you ever see your light. They're outside of your situation, and all of those negative feelings, or the negative self-talk that's so hard to get out of. That's one of the biggest things, the hardest things to change about yourself when you start trying to heal from your past traumas, is that negative self-talk. Because even if you get away from the things, you still have that self-talk, and so you have to change that. You have to stop yourself mid-thought and say, nope, I'm not going to tell myself that. Nope, I'm not going to think about that memory that hurt me so bad. Nope, I'm going to cry this out. I'm going to feel every bit of it without using any band-aids. Like, you have to be the one that stops yourself from saying, I'm just going to go get a beer. Or like me, when I used to smoke weed, that I would say it was my daily dose of fuck it. Because when things started to creep up, or the day was hard, or something happened that made me sad, or things weren't going my way, I was like, well, if I smoke weed, like, everything will be fine, at least for a few minutes, or I'll smoke until I get so tired and I pass out, or whatever. Like, it was a big sleep aid for me. So yeah, using the band-aids, or I'm gonna go get a whatever it is that your vice, cheeseburger, milkshake, like Frosties with fries. That's a good one. I really missed that, by the way. But whatever it was that made you feel better and gave you a pick me up, that wasn't a healthy, positive coping skill. Like, those people wanted you to keep doing that, to keep going down that broken road, that broken record that wasn't going to lead you to rise up and realize your full potential and shine your light so bright for the world to see. Like, they don't want that. So do it anyway. Get away from those people. If you don't have anybody in your life that's a positive role model, somebody that's pointing out the great things about you, or telling you that you didn't need that person in your life anyway, or that you couldn't do it, or that, just course correct and you can do it. If you don't have the people in your life that are cheering you on, then isolate from everyone in whatever way that you can, so that you stop hearing all of those things, so that you stop feeling all of those low vibrations surrounding you, that you start to build a firm foundation with you and your higher self, which is God. You're God. So if you listen to your higher self, you're listening to God. That's the Christ conscience. It's going to tell you the real truth. It's going to tell you you love yourself. You love yourself, and you can do this. Putting one foot in front of the other and trust and have faith, and it will eventually happen for you. It's in God's timing. So no matter how many readings that you listen to, even if you don't have anybody around you and your internet family or you're part of your cheer team, even if that is, helping you to move forward and telling you positive things, it's still God's timing. No matter what anybody says or does, or no matter what you tell yourself, it's still going to happen in God's timing. It's all unfolding just as it should be, right as it should be. You are right where you are supposed to be at the right time. And so you have to trust and have faith that it will happen in God's timing. But if you put that work into yourself and you start dealing with those traumas without those band-aids, and you cheer yourself on every day, and you start to change that self-talk within you to where you're not staying down in the dumps, you're not depressed, you're not walking around like Eeyore, you're saying, you know what? Let me write this down. However it works for you. Let me journal about this. Let me look at this constructively from a healthy mindset by using positive coping skills and tell myself the good things about this. That I am no longer in that toxic cycle. I'm not in that abusive relationship. I'm not in that addiction. I'm not in that whatever that was keeping you going around in that negative cycle, keeping you stuck in that same place. Telling yourself, I'm not there, right? I'm not doing those things. I am feeling everything and I'm letting it out as it comes without using anything to cover it up. Like, that is so beautiful. I thought I would smoke weed for the rest of my life. And it's so funny because when I was in high school, I despised it. I despised it. I was using things like the Gap and, trying to conform and use things like to make me feel better in my appearance. But I wasn't using substances yet. And the people that around me that had started, oh, I hated it. I had this boyfriend that I was like, hey, when you smoke weed and it stinks, and, I can tell that you're drunk, and, just berating him for it and thinking that was going to make him stop, although it really drove him further in and wanted to cut me off because he didn't want to hear that. He just wanted to do what made him feel good, and I didn't make him feel good or want him to do the things that made him feel good. So bye. But I didn't do any of those things yet. And then come fast forward to Carrie in her, late 20s until her early 40s. Yeah, they would be like, I never thought that she would stop smoking weed because that was my vice. That was my thing. That I loved it. I loved, listening to music about it. I loved doing it and getting involved in music or the movies that, whatever. Like, I just, that's what makes it so hard to believe that I would be this person now, because the people that saw me as that version of myself would have never thought that I would change from that. And at one point, I never did either. But now, if I think about it, I'm like, it would be so weird to go and get some weed right now. Like, I would never do that now because I'm so far removed from that. And I love who I am now without it, that it would be such a disappointment in myself to backslide at this point. And I would feel so out of control of myself. And that's the only thing that we have control over is ourselves. And I cherish that with everything that I am, that I would never try and go and actually spend money on it and throw away all of this progress that I've made for me to feel out of control of myself when I've fought so hard to get in full control of myself and my emotions, and to be so free of trauma because I've dealt with it and I haven't used anything to cover it up. That is amazing. That is a trophy all in itself, and I want that for all of you guys. And the people that want to keep you stuck there want to keep beating you up, or helping you beat yourself up by not ever cheering you on or showing you any positives or potential. you have to see that for yourself. You have to do that for yourself if you don't have anybody around. Don't think because you don't have anybody around that you can't do it. Do it for your damn self. Do it for yourself. It's worth it. It's totally worth it, because when you get past it, you will be so proud of your progress that you will not want to give it up and you will want to keep going. And if you don't, the alternative is being backed up on a cliff on a cliff by all of the people that thought that they would keep you being that version or worse of yourself for the rest of your life to make them feel better about themselves, or for you never to reach your full potential, which they saw in you the whole entire time, which is why they put you or wanted you to stay in that position. They saw it. They were outside of you and all of your clouds and Eeyore and Debbie Downer, all of that. They saw it. They saw it, but you didn't. And they didn't want you to. That's why you have to either one, gravitate towards people that want the best for you, that they're doing good for themselves and they want the best for you and they'll cheer you on, or be your own damn cheerleader and get away from it, because they'll back you up and back you up and back you up and back you up into a corner until you give up on yourself. That's what will happen. That's the alternative. And I know that I was backed up into a corner, or up against a cliff. I would say that's a better analogy, that they backed me up against a cliff, that it was everything was taken away from me, that I was made to think that I couldn't live without those things. I made myself believe that I couldn't live without those things. And so it made it a weapon. It made it something that they could take away from me. And when they took all of those things away, and then I isolated and started being my own cheerleader, when they backed me up against that cliff, what did I do? I jumped. I jumped. I took the leap. I took the leap. And you know what? As long as you are being your own cheerleader and you have that firm foundation with God, the universe will catch you. It will catch you. You will soar. You will fly. Okay? So it's so worth it. Don't let them, put baby in a corner. Don't let them back you up on that cliff and take everything away from you, or beat you down, or want you to keep beating yourself down to the point where they never think that you will take back control of yourself and you will leap off of that cliff with the utmost confidence and self-worth and the biggest smile on your face, because you are no longer a prisoner to that life, to that version of yourself that you are flying. You are flying high, where they always knew that you could go, but they didn't want you to. So it's very rewarding. It's hard work, and I wish that everyone would do it for themselves, but they're just not going to. So you have to take responsibility for that. You have to parent yourself. You have to cheer yourself on. You have to stop carrying all of that baggage around, because you were free all along. This whole damn time, you were free. So act like it. I love you. God loves you. You're never alone. I'll talk to you later. Bye.